What are your goals and expectations for the upcoming spring season?
I think that, every time you start a new year, at least over the last several years, our goals have never changed. I mean, it's ultimately to win a conference championship. I know I said that when we did this interview last year. I think that if you're not shooting for the top level to get to the NCAA regionals, at the end of the day, you're probably selling your kids short and the program short. And I know that that's the goals for most of the programs in the league. And I know that there's a standard of excellence for this conference in baseball. So it's never changed. I hope it will never change. I hope we're always to the point where we feel like we can compete at the highest level for a conference championship and the opportunity to move on to play in the postseason. It's always a difficult task in this league, but each year's a new year, and we certainly always look at it as the future is bright for us, and we're going to put our best foot forward to try to win a championship, and hopefully we'll peak in April and move into May with an opportunity to play in the postseason.
Who are some of your key losses from a year ago?
Well, we had a really good group of seniors that left this past year. Kevin Keene, Dylan Shoup, Mike Verbickus were some of the position players that we lost. Rob Jennings was awesome for us as well. Kenny Georges, Austin Peretz on the mound. Several all-conference players over the last couple of years, one All-American in there and a player that, CAC Player of the Year. So when you lose a group that really brought a high level of consistency over the last 2 years, really, in 13 and 14, and I think helped kind of take us to the next level. If you look at our record, some of the statistics over the last 2 years, those guys did an unbelievable job, really continuing to move the program forward. We were fortunate in 2011 to win a championship and then trying to get back there, and I think that those guys really have paved the way for some of the guys that returned this year, and hopefully some of the guys that were young that are now becoming upperclassmen, to see how you go about your business every day, what it takes to be very competitive and to succeed at this level in this league. And, those guys will be greatly missed. Kenny on the mound especially, and Kevin, his leadership I don't think he made an error in 2 years in center field for us. Just did a great job of anchoring our defense in the outfield and certainly in the middle of our order over 2 years. So those two guys in particular, Brandon Romali was also another guy that I didn't mention before, that just had an unbelievable turnaround from 2013 to 2014. His statistics, his batting average went up over 100 points in 1 year. So all those seniors, they all played a huge role in what we did, and they'll be greatly missed, and it's going to be hard to replace them. But, just like anytime you have a senior class that's very important to you that goes out, you do your best you can to try to replace them.
We talked about your key losses. Touch on your key returners for the spring season.
Yeah, it's kind of fortunate or unfortunate, depending on how you look at it. Our key returners are pretty much all in the infield. The guys that anchored those 4 spots last year were all juniors, so it makes for a hefty infield senior class this year, and so I'll probably be talking about next year how we replace these guys. But the first guy that I think of is always the guy that you look to kind of be your leader on defense, and that's your shortstop, and that's Cam Stewart for us this year. Did a really nice job last year in his first year in the program, and really went out and had a lot of success this past summer in the Coastal Plain League, which is a highly prestigious summer league, and I look for him to take 2 or 3 steps forward after his success and really that experience, not so much physically, but how he leads, how he goes about his business, and how he can kind of mentor some of the other players. Ricky Castro, Zach Weiss, both those guys had a huge impact offensively. One plays second, one plays third, and then Ricky Brady, who was our team MVP last year, who played first base, he'll be back as well. Those 4 guys are really the guys that we're going to look to. They'll probably hit maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 in our order, and they're going to be relied upon a lot for leadership, for that experience, and hopefully to be that calming effect as well, in those tumultuous times that you face, that everyone faces throughout the course of the season. So those guys will be relied upon a lot, and certainly we look forward to them hopefully building upon their success from last year.
Talk a little bit about some of your key newcomers.
Yeah, you notice when we talked about the key returners, I didn't talk about any guys on the pitching staff. So we really went out and we tried to bolster what we had coming back, which was a lot of relief guys, some guys that did some spot starting for us. So we start with Bennett Schultz and then Clayton Frymuth and Greg Schneider. Those 3 guys, coming into the season. They look like they could be our top 3 guys in the rotation. Really excited about their prospects for the season. Bennett is a guy that's dealt with a little bit of an elbow issue, so we'll see how he comes along here. He seems to be progressing nicely with the therapy and the rehab. He threw very well in the fall, had an outstanding summer, so we're excited about what he can do and feel comfortable with what he can do. Just hoping he's going to be 100% healthy for us. Clayton's a left-handed pitcher. Just had an outstanding fall for us. You really started to see him take the next step moving forward. Even though those 2 guys were new, where Clayton came from, he didn't get a lot of opportunity previously. So excited about what he brings to the table. Big, strong guy, should be able to throw a lot of innings for us. And Greg Schneider is the 3rd guy, but he's definitely not the least guy. He's gotten some interest from the next level. Some pro guys are interested in him. We're excited about what he does. He's a tremendous athlete, probably going to be a 2-way guy for us. We'll DH and play some outfield along with pitch. At the end of the season, I expect him to be one of the top players in the league. He's a guy that can run, he can throw, he can do it all. But he's got to make sure that he prepares himself, that he's prepared to be a 2-way guy, and that he reaches his potential. And if he does that, he could have a very, very great year. So the 4th guy that I want to mention is a guy that's going to take over for Kevin Keene in center field, and that's Nick Walker. He's new to the program. He had an outstanding fall, really did a great job defensively, and that was what Kevin did so well. So now we'll see if he can be a guy that can replace Kevin, in the lineup, and that'll be a little bit more difficult task. But those 4 guys we're very excited about, along with some younger guys on the pitching staff and some younger position players that we have come in. So hopefully the future will remain bright for the program, and those 4 guys will have a major impact on the program, along with some other guys as well.
What are your thoughts on your schedule, both in and out of conference?
Yeah, the last couple of years we've been, I would say, in the running for one of those at-large bids out of our league. It's always been very important to me to make sure we put the most competitive schedule together that we can. So at the end of the day, if you aren't the one that gets the automatic bid, you have an opportunity to still move on and play in the postseason. Our conference strength of schedule is so tough, just by playing the in-league games. It can boost your strength of schedule just with teams, York, Salisbury, CNU now. Those schools have been perennially really good teams in and out of regionals over the last 5 or 6 years. So just the opportunity to play them on a regular basis boosts your strength of schedule. And then you throw in every year now Marietta, Shenandoah. We've put together 2 tournaments down south where we're bringing schools from up north. St. Joe's from Maine, who's had a very good program. Ramapo's in the NJAC has been very good. So some schools like that. Old Westbury, who's been, I think, receiving votes in the preseason polls here. So some schools that we haven't played in the past, so it'll be nice to get some new faces on the schedule. We also play Randolph-Macon, who's been in the regional, I think, 2 of the last 3 years, and been a ODAC power. We played Hampton-Sydney in the past. We don't have them on the schedule, but just having some of those schools that are in the USA South, that are in the ODAC, Washington Jefferson's another one, La Roche is another one. The schools that are in the area that are just strengthen that non-conference schedule, that help you get those points that you need to possibly get that at large. It's also a great opportunity for some young guys that are pitching in those non-conference games or getting some at bats in those non-conference games against great competition. You see an opportunity to get them in that's going to help them prepare for more of an everyday role down the road when you're in CAC competition. And you got to do that in order to prepare some of the younger guys, some of the new guys, to help them understand what it's going to take to compete for a conference championship. And you hope at the end of the day what you do during the season is going to prepare you for that week-long test against the best teams in our league. So we hope that we'll be there in the end, and we certainly try to prepare ourselves with the schedule that we play, the places that we go, the things that we do, in order to make sure that we have the best opportunity that we can to receive that or earn that automatic bid at the end of the year.